last class when we had stopped our discussion, we had discussed about the special powers of the Rajya Sabha and the Lok Sabha. Now, the first thing that we will be taking up for discussion is a question that is the Rajya Sabha a second chamber or a secondary chamber? This particular question has got relevance nowadays because in one of his speeches last month, the Prime Minister also held that the Rajya Sabha, which is not directly elected by the people, it should not be given an important place or such an important place. The Prime Minister seemed to be frustrated in the way that the Rajya Sabha was putting a stumbling block in the passage of certain bills as the government has no majority in the Rajya Sabha. So again, discussions started in the academic circles, in the political circles, regarding the relevance of the Rajya Sabha. And this question, that is the Rajya Sabha a second chamber or a secondary chamber, becomes relevant in the contemporary times. Now, when we say secondary chamber is a type of derogatory thing, that this house is not primary, not of much importance, and it has got a second place and the primary place has been given to the Lok Sabha. Now, why the critics may have held that Rajya Sabha is a secondary chamber? Because of the importance that the Lok Sabha has got in the passage of a money bill and also the introduction and the passage of no confidence motion, a cut motion, the critics may have thought or may have a view that the Rajya Sabha is a secondary chamber, it is not a second chamber. It is just as it is. But when we analyze the special powers of both the Lok Sabha as well as the Rajya Sabha, we observe that Lok Sabha has got some special powers where the existence of the popular government is at stake, a no confidence motion. If it is passed, then the government will go. Then the censor motion. The policy of the government is censored. Then cut motion. It is regarding the curtailment in the demand for grants to the various ministries. That okay, this much of money should not be given to this particular ministry or this particular, we can say, project. Apart from it, a money bill. Money bill is related to the money or the taxpayers' money, we can say. So wherever the people's money is concerned, as we had discussed in the last class also, and where the existence of the popular government is at stake, the popular house, that is the Lok Sabha, has been given special powers. And where the interest of the state is at stake, there we have seen that the Rajya Sabha has been given special powers, making a law on a subject in the state list. The Rajya Sabha need to authorize it under Article 249. Then creation or abolition of an All India service. The officers of All India service, they serve under the states, but they are appointed by the center. So, where the interest of the state is at stake, the Rajya Sabha has been given special powers. But apart from it, we have also seen that both the houses enjoy equal powers in relation to or in regard to the election of the president and vice president, as well as the impeachment of the president. Then members of both the houses can be appointed as ministers. And not only this, we had seen that even the Prime Minister of this country was from the Rajya Sabha. Then in regard to an ordinary bill and in regard to a constitutional amendment bill, both the houses have got equal powers. If the Rajya Sabha passes a bill and the Lok Sabha will not, the bill will not be passed. And the flip side of it also. It is in case of the ordinary bill as well as in case of the constitutional amendment bill. Both the houses have equal powers. So, when we analyze the equal powers also, we cannot say that the Rajya Sabha is a secondary chamber, the Rajya Sabha is a second chamber. Clear? So such type of questions need an analysis like this. First of all, we need to talk about the context, then why the Rajya Sabha may have been termed as a secondary chamber, and then whether it is a secondary chamber or not by comparing the equal powers of both the Lok Sabha as well as the Rajya Sabha. Clear? लिख लो, मैं लिखवा देता हूँ. Some critics view that the Rajya Sabha is a secondary chamber, not a second chamber. Their view is based on the special powers being enjoyed by the Lok Sabha, in regard to the introduction and passage of a money bill, a no confidence motion, censor motion, sensor motion and cut motions where the Lok Sabha has been given special powers. In the next sentence you can write, an analysis of the special powers of both the houses shows that the Lok Sabha enjoys special powers where the existence of the popular government is at stake. And where the people's money is involved. On the other hand, the Rajya Sabha enjoys special power. Where the interests of the states is at stake. In the next paragraph, but both the houses enjoy equal powers. In the election of the president and the vice president. Impeachment of the president. And in the passage of an ordinary bill, and a constitutional amendment bill. Apart from it, the members of Rajya Sabha the members of Rajya Sabha can be appointed as ministers also. So in the light of the above discussion, we may say that the Rajya Sabha is a second chamber, it is not a secondary chamber. Clear? So we need to analyze that why the Rajya Sabha may have been termed as a secondary chamber, that is the context, and then we can compare the equal powers of both, that is the Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha. Apart from it, another thing that I missed out, but still you can know it, that as the Rajya Sabha is a permanent house, it has got its own relevance if it comes to the approval of any type of emergency that is going on in the country. Because whether it is a national emergency or whether it is the president's rule, it has to be approved by the parliament every 6 months. For example, if a state emergency or a president rule is going on in any of the states and 6 months have lapsed, the Lok Sabha has been dissolved, fresh elections are to be held for the country as a whole, then even if the Lok Sabha has been dissolved, the Rajya Sabha, if the Rajya Sabha approves the state emergency in the state, there is a president rule, the state emergency can be extended. If the Lok Sabha is constituted, the Lok Sabha will approve it again. That is a different thing. But as it is a permanent house, it has another role to play in the approval of the emergency, whether it is state, national or any type of emergency, if the Lok Sabha has been dissolved. So, as it is a permanent house, it has its own importance. So, these were the aspects that we needed to discuss Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha separately. Now coming to the parliamentary procedures. And here the first thing that we will be taking up for discussion is the sessions of the parliament. There are two types of sessions of the parliament. The regular sessions and special sessions. Normally there are three regular sessions which are held. Budget, monsoon and winter sessions. So normally we can have three regular sessions in an year, but the classification or of the regular sessions is not constitutional. It is not mentioned in the constitution. It is a convention that is there. Clear? You can write as note. The three regular sessions are not constitutional, but are held in accordance with the established parliamentary conventions. The established parliamentary conventions. Article 85 of the Constitution Article 85 of the Constitution holds that the intervening gap between the two sessions of the Parliament shall not exceed 6 months. Shall not exceed 6 months. Underline 6 months. So this is the only thing that is important from the examination point of view, that the intervening gap between the two sessions of the Parliament, it shall not exceed 6 months. So we can have either two sessions of the Parliament, but by convention we are having 3 sessions of the Parliament. Now coming to the budget session, the budget session is the first session of the year and it is the most important session. It is the first session of the year. It is the first session of the year and it is the most important session because the budget is presented and passed in this session. Because the budget is presented and passed in this session. It is the longest session of the year. And it is generally held from mid-February to May. We use the word generally, there is a tentative timeline is there. Mid-February to May. The President addresses the joint session. The President addresses the joint session of both the houses at the beginning of this session. So this session, it starts with the presidential address. And so on the very first day, both the houses of the Parliament, they are there in the central hall of the Parliament. The President comes, he addresses both the houses, and then the budget session starts. The monsoon session, it is generally held in July, August. It can be August, September also, but generally it is held in July, August. And here normal legislative functions takes place. That is the passage of the bills, constitutional amendments if required, discussions, debates, question hour, such type of things. Winter session is the shortest of all the sessions. It is the shortest of all the sessions and it is generally held from mid-November to mid-December. Mid-November to mid-December. Here also normal legislative functions take place. Now when we talk about the special sessions, the special sessions are held to commemorate some festives or to transact some special business. I repeat, the special sessions are called or are held to commemorate some festives, or to transact some special business, Commemorate festives does not mean that we can say celebrating Diwali, Dashara, Eid, Bakrid, or we can say Christmas. It is not like that. It is 75th year of Indian independence or the Indian Republic, such type of festives. We can have the special sessions. And to transact some special business, a bill has to be passed and it was not being passed in the regular sessions. There is a need, we can have the special sessions. Or a foreign dignitary comes to India, he has to address the sessions of the parliament, and at that point of time we can have the special session of the parliament. Here the most important thing is the intervening gap between the two sessions of the parliament shall not exceed 6 months, and the regular sessions are held, the 3 regular sessions are held not in accordance with the provisions of the constitution, but it is a convention that we have established. Now coming to the privileges and immunities of the MPs. 2 chapters are very lengthy in Indian polity. One we have already discussed, that is the fundamental rights, and the second chapter or the second aspect that is very lengthy is that of the parliament, that is we are discussing, because you see a lot of things that we need to know here regarding the parliamentary procedures. Privileges and immunities of the MPs. Article 105 talks about the privileges and immunities of the MPs. The MPs enjoy 2 types of privileges or immunities. First, in their individual capacity, and secondly, in their collective capacity. In their individual capacity means every MP XYZ will be enjoying these freedoms, will be enjoying this immunity or privileges.